So, I once tried learning Japanese. Like full-on downloaded an app, watched anime with the subtitles off, all that. And then, 2 weeks later, I just kinda stopped. This is actually a story one of my students told me. Hi, I'm Marion, a Japanese teacher at Virtual Japanese Academy, and you probably have experienced the exact same thing before. But don't worry, this happens all the time. In fact, research shows that about 80% of people who start learning Japanese quit within the first 3 months. It's kind of like starting a workout plan. Super exciting at first, but then life happens and motivation disappears. Japanese can seem incredibly hard and confusing at first. Maybe you're like, oh my gosh, is this even real? 3 writing systems? Kanji that looks like ancient art, and grammar that's like from another planet. It's no wonder so many beginners feel overwhelmed and eventually give up. Honestly, I have totally been through that cycle when I was learning English. First, I downloaded the Duolingo app, got super motivated, did it every day for like a week. And then, 1 skipped day turned into 2. Eventually, I just kinda forgot about it completely. This pattern is incredibly common, but I'm here to tell you, it does not have to be your story. The truth is, most people don't give up because Japanese is too difficult. They give up because they don't have a clear roadmap. Like, how do I learn? Where do I even start? Without answers, most people end up not starting at all. Imagine you're out at sea. There's no map, no compass, just endless waves in every direction. That's what learning Japanese feels like for most beginners. It's not about being smart or disciplined, and you're not failing Japanese. The system is failing you. でも、安心してください。正しいやり方をすれば、誰でも3ヶ月で日本語の基礎をしっかり固めることができます。そして、その基礎が 80% のやめてしまう人たちにならないようにしてくれるんです。Alright, in today's video, I'll walk you through a 3-month plan to help you build a solid base in Japanese. We're not talking overnight fluency, that's not realistic, but we are talking about real progress that actually lasts. And it is actually built to help you avoid burnout and keep making consistent progress. I have worked with a lot of students going through those tough, early stages of learning Japanese, and over time, I started seeing clear patterns, the habits that lead to success and the ones that usually lead to giving up. And honestly, this is not just theory. This is something I have actually used myself. So by following this method, you'll not only learn the basics of Japanese, but also develop study habits you can actually stick to, and that will support you throughout your entire language learning journey. Think of it like building a house. You wouldn't just start throwing up walls and a roof, right? We need to make sure the foundation is rock solid before thinking about walls or a roof, so stick around till the end. And also, I have a special announcement at the end of this video. As an experienced teacher have taught Japanese to countless students, I'm offering you free personalized Japanese session and speaking level review that you can join completely free. This session is designed to help you achieve Japanese fluency and gives you the chances for real conversation practice, immediate feedback on your pronunciation or grammar, and answers to all your questions. I'll share all the details at the end of this video, but I want you to promise me one thing. Please only register if you really found this video helpful or valuable. Why? Because I seriously don't want to waste your time. So make sure to watch until the end and check it out for yourself. Alright, let's get started. Now, I'll give you the perfect plan right away. It would be start with grammar, then master 1 vocabulary book and pronunciation in 1 month. That's it. Thanks for watching. Sorry, just kidding. If that was the whole thing, it would be the fastest Japanese course on YouTube, and probably the worst. So let's actually dive in step by step, and start by looking at the big picture of our 3-month Japanese foundation plan. This roadmap consists of 5 key stages. Stage 1 focuses on the Japanese writing systems, like hiragana and katakana. These are absolutely essential and will be your primary focus for the first 2-3 weeks. Think of them as the alphabet of Japanese, so you simply can't progress without mastering them. Stage 2 introduces basic grammar structures and essential vocabulary. This is where you'll learn how Japanese sentences are constructed and acquire your first 500 words, enough to start forming simple sentences and understanding basic content. Stage 3 introduces simple kanji. This is where everything starts coming together, and you'll begin actually using the language rather than just studying it. Stage 4 covers listening and pronunciation skills, ensuring you can understand spoken Japanese and make yourself understood. Many courses doesn't say these are important skills, but they're super important for getting better at both listening and speaking. Finally, Stage 5 focuses on application, where you'll start using Japanese in realistic contexts. This is where your knowledge transforms from theoretical to practical, and you'll see just how much you've learned in these 3 months. So let's jump right into Stage 1, mastering hiragana and katakana. These two phonetic writing systems are the absolute foundation of Japanese literacy. Without them, you simply can't progress in any meaningful way. Hiragana consists of 46 basic characters that represent all the sounds in the Japanese language. It's used for native Japanese words, grammar particles, and verb endings. You'll see it in every single sentence. Katakana also has 46 basic characters and represents the same sounds as hiragana, but it's mainly used for foreign loanwords, names, and for emphasis, kind of like how we use italics in English. Think of hiragana and katakana like learning the ABCs in English. Now, maybe some of you are thinking, oh, I'll just skip that, because I can just use Romaji, the English alphabet, instead. Actually, that's a trap. Relying on Romaji might seem easier at first, but it will definitely hold you back later on, and you'll be regret it. The good news is that unlike kanji, which has thousands of characters, hiragana and katakana are finite systems with just 46 basic characters each. Most learners can master both within 2 to 3 weeks. It's a perfect confidence-building first challenge. The most effective way to master hiragana and katakana is actually pretty simple. First, use a kana chart just like this one.
これは実際に日本人の小学生もひらがなやカタカナを覚えるときに同じやり方で覚えています。私も小さい頃にトイレの壁にひらがなの行が貼ってあったのを覚えていますね。でもこれ見ようと思ってなくても毎日自然に目に入るので結構いいんですよね。
I've put the chart in the description below. Feel free to use it. For each character, you should memorize them while saying it out loud. And if you can while practicing writing it, this is multi-sensory approach that engages different parts of your brain and strengthens memory formation. Don't just passively look at charts. Active practice is essential. And start with hiragana. Begin with the vowels.
A, I, U, E, O.
Then move on to the consonant groups like
Ka, Ki, Ku, Ke, Ko.
Now, here's the key. Don't just study a few at a time and hope they'll stick. Instead, cycle through all of them as often as possible. Why? Because memory sticks through repetition, not by just focusing on one part. After a week of practice, take note of the characters you still struggle with and turn those into flashcards. I recommend using tools like Anki or Quizlet for spaced repetition. Or, if you're using my Japanese coaching service, you'll actually get access to a chatbot that automatically turns hard-to-remember words into quizzes and reminds you to review them at the right time. So even if you forget, the system pushes you to review at just the right time so you don't fall behind. It basically forces you to build long-term memory in the most efficient way possible. And here's where a lot of learners go wrong. They try to rush through this part just to get to what they think the real Japanese, like, okay, let's skip to the real Japanese already. But skipping ahead too soon creates a weak foundation, and that causes problems later. It might feel slow now, but it'll save you a ton of frustration later. So after mastering hiragana and katakana, we move to stage 2. It's basic grammar and vocabulary.
うわぁ、文法とか最悪だわ。マジでむずそう。今こう思いませんでした？でも大丈夫です。日本語の文法は英語とは全く違う構造ですが、実はものすごく単純なパターンでできています。
The most fundamental aspect of Japanese grammar is its basic sentence structure, subject, object, verb, unlike English's subject, verb, object. For example, you can say I, apple, eat, rather than I eat, apple. This takes some getting used to, but it's so consistent. Unlike many European languages, Japanese doesn't have grammatical gender, articles like a, an, the, or plural forms. This actually makes certain aspects of Japanese grammar simpler than English. You don't need to memorize if a noun is masculine or feminine. I recommend starting with a textbook like Genki. It gives you a nice step-by-step structure that's easy to follow. For grammar reference, I recommend buying a book like The Dictionary of Basic Japanese Grammar. And here's a super important tip. Whenever you get stuck or don't understand something, Ask AI right away. Don't leave those gaps hanging. If you skip over things you don't get, the next lesson won't make sense either. And the one after that, even worse. Before you know it, you'll feel lost and have to go back to the beginning. And trust me, that gets so frustrating. With AI, you can ask anytime, and you can ask the same thing as many times as you need. No judgment. Use tools like ChatGPT or DeepSeek, whatever works best for you. The point is, don't let confusion build up. Get help the moment you need it. At this point, some of you might be thinking, oh, okay. Grammar's not that bad, but vocabulary? I don't even want to think about it. Yeah, I feel you. It's totally normal. When you study vocabulary, you will not remember vocab just repeating it again and again. You need to connect it to something. Use images, situations, emotions, anything that makes the word stick. This is because emotions play a huge role in memory. There are a lot of researches about this. Actually, I'll talk more about this in another video, so check that one out if you want to know more. And another tip is just like with hiragana. Don't only focus on a few words. Keep cycling through all of them regularly because memory builds through repetition, not just cramming. After a week, take the words that still aren't sticking and turn them into flashcards like I said earlier. So what should your daily study routine actually look like at this stage? I recommend studying about 60 to 90 minutes a day, but don't try to do it all in one long session. Breaking it up into smaller focused chunks is way more effective. For example, you could start with 20 minutes of grammar, using Genki as your main textbook. Then spend around 15 minutes reviewing vocabulary, using flashcards or in tool like Anki. After that, dedicate another 15 minutes to learning 10 to 15 new words. And finally, spend your last 20 minutes on output, like actually using the Japanese you've learned. This could be reading aloud, practicing simple sentences, or even having a short conversation with a tutor or a language partner. It doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is to use the language, not just study it. Moving into stage 3, it's time to start learning kanji, an essential part of reading and writing in Japanese. And now, we get to the part that scares a lot of learners. They're characters from Chinese, and there are thousands of them. But don't worry, we'll take it step by step. For the first 3 months, focus on learning just 100 of the most common kanji. This manageable number prevents overwhelm, while still giving you access to amount of written Japanese. In fact, people who actually lives in Japan said this on the YouTube interview.
English-Japanese translator, any advice to those who just started learning Japanese now?
This, you might not want to hear this, but study kanji. Kanji is so important. But for people like me from non-kanji countries, it's the hardest thing. But I really recommend kanji. Just learn 2 a day. If you learn 2 a day for a year, that's a 600. The first 300 kanji are very difficult. But if you can get past the first 300, the next 1,700 take it the same time as the first 300 to learn, because they're just combinations.
But where do I even start? Good question. Start with simple, visually clear kanji, like shito, ki, and yama. These characters actually look like what they mean, which makes them easier to remember and way more fun to learn. They're great for building confidence early on. And actually, this is the same way Japanese kids learn kanji too. Okay, now, here's something that makes a huge difference when learning kanji. Don't just memorize them on their own, learn them in context. Instead of studying random kanji on their own, try learning them through words you already know. For example, when you learn ki, pair it with words like hayashi or mori. That way, your brain connects meaning, reading, and usage all at the same time, which makes it way easier to remember. And speaking of learning smart, let's talk about goals. Set both process goals, like study 30 minutes a day, and outcome goals, such as have a 5-minute conversation by the end of month 3. Process goals keep you moving. Outcome goals give you direction. Big goals can feel overwhelming, so break them down. Don't say learn 2,000 words, say learn 100 new words every 2 weeks. That way, you'll see your progress and stay motivated. I've said this a bunch of times already, but it really matters. You don't have to memorize everything perfectly right away. What really matters is showing up. Even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes a day, sticking to your process goals is what helps you keep going day by day. Let's move into stage 4, where we focus on developing listening and pronunciation skills that many learners forget. They may not seem important at first, but they're super important for getting better at Japanese. Why? Because when you train your ears, your mouth improves too. In other words, better listening equal better speaking. In fact, research shows that active listening practice improves not just comprehension, but also speaking ability, grammar awareness, and even reading skills. It's like a secret weapon that boosts everything at once. But what's actually different about Japanese pronunciation? Japanese includes sounds that don't exist in English, like the R and L sound or the way each syllable or mora is spoken with equal timing, unlike English's stressed rhythm. You might think, oh, that seems really complicated. But actually, Japanese pronunciation is incredibly simple, like the grammar. Once you understand the rules, there are very few exceptions.
じゃあ、実際にリスニング力と発音をどうやって鍛えればいいのか、今回はシンプルだけど効果的な2つの方法を紹介します。
The first method is called shadowing. This is one of the most effective way for improving both listening and speaking. You simply listen to native audio, like from YouTube, anime, podcasts, whatever, and repeat what you hear in real time as closely as possible. Start with audio that includes a script so you can check yourself. Listen once, then repeat along with the audio, trying to match pronunciation, rhythm, and speed. And if there's a part you can't say well and you can't keep up, that's your practice area. Slow down, isolate those tricky spots, and repeat that part again and again until it feels smooth and flow naturally. But why is this so effective? Because if you can't say it, you probably can't hear it clearly either. It's a common insight in language learning. The ability to produce a sound helps you recognize it more accurately when listening. Now, the second method is all about rhythm and timing. Japanese has a very different rhythm from English. Each mora, the rhythmic sound unit, is given equal timing. For example, take these two words.
おばあさん
Means grandmother.
おばさん
Means aunt. Just the length of the vowel changes the meaning. That's why things like pitch accent, long vowels, and double consonants are super important in Japanese. A small change can completely flip the meaning of a word. This gets into the phonetic side of the language, so if you're interested, I'm going to make a whole video just diving into that. So, before we wrap up this stage, there's something really important to talk about. It's the intermediate plateau. At some point, most learners hit a wall. Like, you're still studying, but you feel like nothing's changing. But that's totally normal. In the beginning, progress feels fast. Like, you go from 0 to having simple Japanese skills. But once the basics are down, progress slows. Or at least it feels like it does. What's really happening is your growth is just becoming less visible. There's even research that explains this. Language learning doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in waves, like big jumps, followed by slower periods where your brain is processing everything you've learned. So if you're in that slow phase, do not panic. You're not stuck. You're just in the next part of the process. Finally, stage 5. This is where things start getting real. Up until now, you've been building a strong base, like vocabulary, grammar, listening, pronunciation. Now, it's time to start using your Japanese in real situations and start outputting. You might be thinking, okay, I just need to find some native speakers to talk to, right? Yes, speaking with native speakers is great. But remember this, not all native speakers can help you grow. Most Japanese people, just like in any language, don't actually know how their own grammar works or how they pronounce certain things. So when you ask, why do you say it like this? They might say, I don't know. That's just how we say it. And that doesn't really help you improve. That's why I highly recommend practicing with qualified teachers or native speakers who have experience teaching Japanese, like someone who can actually explain what's happening, not just speak naturally. Over time, regular feedback will help you fix mistakes. Here's another powerful strategy. Use Japanese as a tool to learn other things. Let's say you're into business. Try watching business videos and taking notes in Japanese. If you're into music, try learning music theory or how to play an instrument in Japanese. This is called total immersion. And fun fact, it's the same technique professional spies use to learn multiple languages fast. It gives your brain a real reason to stay engaged. If you've stuck with me up to this point, you're doing amazing! The truth is, if you can get through stage 3, everything after that, stage 4 and 5 is actually not that tough in comparison. The beginning is the hardest part. And you remember what I said at the very start of this video about the 80% of learners who give up on Japanese? Most of them quit during the first 3 stages, especially when it comes to kanji. I'd say, out of 100 people who start, 95 quit during the kanji stage. And from the 5 who survive that, another 4 drop off later. If you can push through those early stages, like especially stages 1, 2, and 3, you're already way ahead of the pack. Most learners try to jump straight straight into the cool stuff, like shadowing, total immersion, native content, and skip earlier steps. And what happens? They get stuck. Sometimes you see the people like that, right? So even if it feels slow at first, mastering the basics is the fastest way to real progress. If you do what everyone else does, you'll get the same results everyone else gets. If you want extraordinary results, you have to learn in an uncommon way. Okay, before we finish, I have a quick announcement, and we'll review everything again to help it stick in your memory. So make sure to watch till the end. We've been through a lot today, actually, but I think some of you might still have questions or feel unsure about certain aspects of what we covered today. Maybe you're wondering how to adapt these methods to your specific situations, or you're concerned about your pronunciation or grammar. That's why I'm currently offering free personalized Japanese sessions. This is for people who find at least one of these sounds familiar, like...
Honestly, I have no partner to practice Japanese conversations with.
I don't know, but my pronunciation just doesn't sound like native.
Oh no! I'm actually struggling with Japanese slang and natural expressions now.
I want to be fluent, but kinda hard to stay motivated when learning on my own.
Or maybe you're just starting out and have no idea where to start. These are struggles that almost every Japanese learner faces at some point, and I know exactly how that feels. But let me tell you, your struggles are completely normal, and they all can be solved. This is your opportunity to bring all your questions, concerns, and struggles directly to a native Japanese teacher. And in this session, I will do number 1, identify your current challenges and areas for improvement. Number 2, define a clear, achievable goal based on your needs. And number 3, build a step-by-step action plan that helps you progress confidently. This is not just normal lesson. It's a fully customized session designed to help you achieve your Japanese learning goals. Many of my previous participants have said things like,
And do you have more confidence of speaking Japanese compared to yourself before taking my lesson 5 months ago?
Oh, definitely. I do feel a little bit more comfortable just because the way that you teach me has been really helpful. I've seen a lot of progress and confidence in myself. You offer a lot of feedback when I'm talking Japanese, and it's super helpful, and I've been taking that feedback. So one specific area that I did work harder on was the pronunciation, which you really helped out a lot with keeping me disciplined in that area of like every day reminding me, like, did you do some speaking Japanese today? And I would send you a voice memo, or even I would ask you, can we do like a 5-minute call practicing, always give me feedback on it's something that I could work on or something that I did.
I was struggling with the specific portions of Japanese that you can't really get from textbooks, aka, from a native speaker stuff. So it's been a great help being able to talk with you. If I don't understand something specifically, I can just ask you and you explain it in very good detail. I've enjoyed quite a bit how well you explain things, and it's very easy to grasp like the different topics. I never took any Japanese classes. I just did all self-taught, and I think anybody who is self-teaching themselves who doesn't have access to classes around the area, I think would benefit from this greatly.
When you explain things, it goes in depth, and you give examples to like remember things too, like symbols and stuff like that. It feels like it's preparing me for traveling to Japan, like real life things, not like learning useless things. I think that was the biggest thing for me, is that like, yeah, you can go on YouTube and like watch all these videos, but then it's nice that like if you have a question, you can ask someone like, why is it like this? Why is it wa and not ga? Like stuff like that.
Okay.
And also, by joining this session, you'll also receive 10 incredible bonuses for free, including Complete Guide to Romantic Japanese Phrases, Comprehensive Guide to Improving Your Japanese Skills using ChatGPT, 10 anime recommendations to enhance listening skills, Collection of Everyday Text Phrases used by Japanese people, Business Email Template Collection, Master Guide to Japanese Honorifics, Collection of Japanese Compliments and Expressions of Gratitude, Casual and Formal Japanese Conversation Comparison List, Introduction to 4-character idioms and proverbs, Japanese phrases for use in restaurants. Honestly, these are real one-on-one sessions where I'm fully focused on just you, which means I can't possibly handle more than a handful each month. That's why spots tend to disappear crazy fast, like sometimes within days. I'm really sorry about that if you click that link and see all slots are already taken. This offer isn't going to be around forever, so please don't sleep on it. To secure your spot, just click the link in the description below, and you will be able to choose your preferred session date. Alright, let's do a quick review so you can start using this from tomorrow. In this video, I shared how to start learning Japanese effectively in 5 stages. Step 1 takes 2 to 3 weeks to master both kana systems. Use the chart in the description and practice daily by seeing, saying, and writing each character. Don't rush this foundation. Tools like Anki or my coaching service can help with review. Step 2 takes 4 to 5 weeks for basic grammar and vocabulary. I recommend recommend Genki 1 and Dictionary of Basic Japanese Grammar. Aim for 500 core words. When stuck, ask AI right away. Check my other video for vocabulary techniques. Step 3 focuses on learning your first 100 kanji. Start with visual ones like shito, ki, and yama. Learn them in context through vocabulary you already know. Step 4 develops listening and pronunciation through shadowing practice and mastering Japanese rhythm. Each mora gets equal timing, which is different from English. Step 5 is about using Japanese in real situations. Practice with qualified teachers who can explain why things work, not just how to say them. Try learning other subjects in Japanese for total immersion. And remember, consistency beats cramming. A little study each day works better than catching up on weekends.
It might feel like the long way, but in the end, it's the fastest and most effective path to fluency. You've got this. You're already doing better than 80% of people just by not giving up. And if you ever feel stuck, come back to this video.
Alright, thanks for sticking around till the end. If this video helped you out, give it a like. If you got a different way to kick off your Japanese learning, drop it in the comments. And more tips are coming soon, so don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.